So, Thor Love and Thunder is a parody. It's not a movie, it's literally a parody of the Thor franchise, which is a very bad way for the Thor franchise. I was a very big fan of Taika Waititi's work in Thor Ragnarok because bringing a bit of comedy, a comedic twist to the Thor franchise was needed. But Thor Love and Thunder has ruined the entire franchise of Thor for me. So, yo, what is freaking good, YouTube? Warstu here. If you are new around here, make sure to subscribe. Don't ever miss any of the Marvel pop culture based content that we do on the daily basis. If you could, subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, comment down below. Do you disagree with me when I say Thor Love and Thunder? It's just a bad movie. Except for the last 5 minutes, there are parts of the movie that are good, but the comedic tone that keeps coming back in and ruined it for me. And I had to watch it. I watched it twice to make sure I wasn't being a bit harsh, but sadly, Thor Love and Thunder is really bad. So, if you could follow me on Twitter, WarstuG, trying to build a community over there. If you do already follow me over there, you will know how much I've already critiqued this movie. And if you could follow me on Instagram at Warstu, that would be much appreciated if you want to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. So let's break it down. Yes, I know the movie's been out a while, but I was away on a holiday. I still managed to watch it, but I wanted to make this video when I got back. So this movie starts off really good. You get a big backstory from Christian Bale's version of Gorr, the God Butcher. And then that's it for the whole movie. I think Marvel have really missed, they've really missed letting Taika Waititi do whatever he wants. Now, I know there was a mandate for this movie to be under 2 hours, which for me wouldn't have made the movie any better. They really missed the nail on the head with this movie, and it's nothing to do with Natalie Portman, Jane Foster. In fact, I think Jane Foster's role as Mighty Thor was one of the few strong points of this movie. I really did enjoy her interpretation of being Mighty Thor. I did think the whole storyline was rushed. The cancer storyline that's quite iconic to the Thor comics was really was rushed, and it just felt forced. They were forcing love down your throat throughout the whole movie. Imagine having a god killer and then you only really see the ramifications of him killing gods via a storyboard, via a screen on the Benatar. It really was a massive shame. If you're gonna have a villain such as Christian Bale, a Hollywood celebrity, a Hollywood legend, you gave him a bad role. Gorr really didn't have a role in this, to the point where there was a serious fight scene, and then Thor's chopping out jokes during a fight scene, and you have Zeus who's like, yeah, we don't want to help because the Necro Sword could actually kill me. I mean, I don't want to make a comparison, but if you look at the Zeus in Zack Snyder's universe, in Wonder Woman, okay, sure, he wasn't that good, but he was a hell of a lot better than Russell Crowe's version. And I get it. They were trying to do this perception, this take on, what if the gods weren't great? What if the gods didn't want to help? Kind of storyline. I mean, they even messed Zeus up. They made Zeus into a parody. And sure, everyone got to see Chris Hemsworth naked, kind of. Sure, I get it. I feel bad for Chris Hemsworth. I really do. I really like his interpretation of Thor. But except for how the end of the movie obviously setting up Hercules to chase Thor, it was just one big mess. There was no pivotal storyline. There was no pivotal plot. It was just joke. I mean, Korg. I mean, there's too many jokes in this movie. Thor Ragnarok, I really rated that movie. Thor Ragnarok was pretty damn good. I think it's one of the better MCU movies. Now, this is the problem I have with most movies in Marvel Phase 4, but Phase 1 and Phase 2 were messy. That's not the point. Phase 1, Phase 2 were establishing everything. Marvel's 10 years in. I mean, even Doctor Strange 2 was kind of not as good as it could have been, but I honestly think Thor Love and Thunder, it was one of the weakest entries ever because the storyline just wasn't there. Not really anything happened. Destruction, or did they save the franchise? I believe they destroyed it. And if they do go ahead with the next Thor movie, please don't have Taika Waititi anywhere near this. Yes, Free Guy. I really love Free Guy. It's a good movie. I think Taika Waititi's time's done in the MCU. For me, I was really hyped for this movie, but I knew based on the information I was told before watching it that I was going to be very disappointed. Imagine having a Necro Sword and having no affiliation, no real backstory to Null, the god of the symbiotes, at all, except for Thor be like, yeah, I've heard the legends. I've heard the stories. Okay, so what are these stories? And Lady Sif was in it, but you didn't really see anything from her. And then you hear that we had some other cameo roles that were cut. The Jeff Goldblum scene, and we're not going to see them because then they have to pay them. And yeah, it's just a train wreck. I don't like to rant, but this movie, it really was that bad. The only good parts for me were slight inklings we got from Christian Bale's version of Gorr, but Gorr the God Butcher didn't kill anyone. He just wanted to bring his daughter back via eternity, and at the end of the movie, he got his wish. So it was all about love, I get it. This movie is a literal parody, and then it obviously ends right at the end of the movie with Thor looking after Gorr's daughter, who she calls Uncle Thor, and he loves her like a daughter. Ironically, that is actually Chris Hemsworth's daughter in real life, which is kind of cool that most of the actors in the movie got to put their family members in the movie, which is cool. So all Thor's daughters were actually in Thor Love and Thunder, which is a cool thing. Like I said, there are glimpses of cool things in this movie. It missed really bad. I didn't even think there was a storyline. I don't get why they couldn't mention Nor or have some storyline towards the Necro Sword. Zeus was scared. He's got the Necro Sword and didn't do anything with it, though. Didn't do anything with it. Obviously, Thor had to use Mjolnir and the Stormbreaker to take out Gorr. Ultimately, there was no storyline. Ultimately, this movie was a freaking mess. And I've read the comments, and some people will think I've been a bit too harsh in it, but I've spoke to a bunch of people about this movie behind the scenes, other YouTubers. I spoke to people in real life about this movie, and usually they think I'm being a bit too harsh in the movie, but for once, they actually agree that this movie was a massive miss. I mean, Valkyrie didn't even do much. We get a scene in the trailer where she's licking her blades, and they took that out. And then you read all the post interviews about this movie, and it annoys me because Christian Bale was like, yeah, there were some creepy, freaky, insane, savage scenes that we shot, but we had to keep this movie family friendly. And that's the biggest issue. This movie should have been a 15. Imagine having a villain called Gorr the God Butcher, but you don't see him kill anyone. It wasn't savage enough. You can't have a massive fight with a God Killer and then Thor be like busting out jokes about the way Gorr looks. It really was a mess. There really isn't much to break down. Cool, let's send Hercules to get Thor. Cool, but let's hope the next movie is actually going to have a bit more serious tone. People are like, yo, Warstu, lighten up. Not everything has to be so serious. I don't even mind about the comic book accuracy part. I really don't care if it is comic book accurate, but the storyline was so weak, it didn't go anywhere. I mean, the only positives were Gorr did actually decent job, but like I say, you can never blame the actors. The actors can only go on the script and the plot and the direction of the director and producers and so on. And the CGI for this movie was, I never liked to moan about CGI. But when you find out this movie is a $350 million movie, and I'm thinking, where did that budget go? Where? What have they done with this budget? I mean, sure, the movie's made money, but has it? I mean, sure, every Marvel movie does well first opening weekend. So according to Watch Mojo, it's made $329 million so far, but it had a really big budget. The CGI was really clunky. And then you get Taika Waititi and Tessa Thompson trolling the CGI. The VFX studios are so underpaid, so overworked. Marvel tries to run them into ground. And it's evident in this movie from the CGI, they didn't finish the CGI properly because it looks so choppy in scenes. Thor's new helmet just looked terrible. There realistically isn't much positive to say about this movie, to the point where I wasn't even thinking about making this video, but I did want to make a video about it because there are parts of the movie that are somewhat enjoyable. I mean, seeing all the other gods was cool, but they didn't do anything. Zeus was a freaking joke. I mean, the whole Zeus scene was a freaking... I get it. Taika Waititi likes to think he's funny. But this movie clearly shows us he's not funny. It was just a forced agenda, and I hate to say that. Yeah, Warstu, you're such a DC fanboy. Oh, Warstu, you're such a fanboy. They just missed. This movie missed. It could have been great. There was so many plot leaks for this movie that were fake, that was so much better than what actually happened. And yes, technically I was right when I said Thor dies. It just happened to be Mighty Thor because she sacrificed herself so that everyone else could live. But it wasn't like Gorr was actually ever in danger of killing anyone, was it? I mean, it's cool we got to see eternity and he granted the wish for Gorr's daughter to come back to life, sure, but we should have seen Gorr's actual rampage of killing on the big screen, but no, we got to see a few minor scenes, and Lady Sif was wasted. A lot of people in this movie were freaking wasted, and yeah, sure, Valhalla We get to see that, but that would have served more of a point if it was in the movie rather than it being, you know, some kind of post-credit scene. So it is what it is. Let me know what you thought about this movie. Was I too harsh on it? Is there a plot? Should Taika Waititi not do any more Marvel movies when it comes to Thor? I really hope he doesn't, because Ragnarok, a very good movie. This movie, mediocre. I don't put numbers on movies unless I think it's a bad movie. So I would give it somewhere around a 4 to a 5. I only rate movies with a number if I think the movie's bad. So like always, guys, let me know what you think about this little review and why it completely missed. And Marvel has an issue with movies at the moment. Let's just hope that Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 are much better movies, and Ant-Man 3 are much better. They can't be any worse. Like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at Warstu to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. Check us out on Twitter, Warstu, and subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, and I'll catch you in another video very soon, guys. Catch you later.